Okay, before I start, let's make something clear. I'm referring to the Good Practice Guide number 44 for authentication and credentials for use with Her Majesty's Government's online services, produced jointly by the Cabinet Office and the National Technical Authority for Information Assurance. And I'm using a really old one. I think it's about 4 years old, and there is a new one, I am told, about to be produced. But I'm not looking at it to critique it or anything like that. I'm purely using it to try and understand what authentication and credential management means from an establishment perspective to how we in the blockchain space are seeing things. So for example, the guide introduces the concepts of, for example, credentials, okay? But it also introduces concepts such as identity service providers and authentication providers. As I said, or I often say, if people know me, Zonify doesn't do identity. The reason we said that was because where blockchain most certainly has credentials in the use of public private key cryptography, it most certainly doesn't have identity. To all intents and purposes, the identity associated with credentials are anonymous in a decentralized network based on a blockchain. So we need to understand what an identity or authentication provider would be in the blockchain world. And I would suggest they may need or may not need to exist at all. And when we talk about self-sovereign identity, people might have taken on the role of an identity provider themselves.